We have raised over $1 million for incredible real estate opportunities in the last 6 months, which just blows my mind.
Welcome to the Physicians and Properties Podcast, the show where we teach you how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want.
Doctor! Doctor! Doctor!
Doctor! Doctor!
Now, here's your host, Dr. Alex Schloe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 52nd episode of the Physicians and Properties Podcast. It has been absolutely amazing, and I am looking forward to what the next year has. For this episode, I wanted to celebrate our special milestone, our 1-year anniversary. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Schloe, and welcome to the 52nd episode of the Physicians and Properties Podcast. As always, I'm your host, and today we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of the Physicians and Properties Podcast, where we teach you how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want. It has been an incredible journey, and I am thrilled for this episode to have the opportunity to reflect on some highs, lows, and everything in between from the last 52 episodes of this podcast, and reflect back, as this is kind of a journal for me to look back on the future and see, hey, I achieved that goal of figuring out how I can invest in real estate and entrepreneurship so that I can practice medicine and live life how I want. I'm really excited for this episode. This will be a little bit differently. This will just be me talking about some highs, lows, and everything in between, not a specific episode where we're interviewing an incredible real estate investor or entrepreneur. But I hope that you learned something from this episode. And if you do, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. Or if you just want to be kind because we've been doing this podcast for a whole year, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. It has been so much fun doing this podcast, and I'm so honored for everyone who has taken some time to listen to this podcast. Let's start with some highs from this past year, or from at least 2024, from January 2024 until now, which has been the halfway point, which is so exciting. The absolute highest highlight, I would say, would be the birth of our son, Owen. So now we have 2 boys, Jack, who's 3.5, and Owen, who is approximately 5 weeks old at the time of recording this episode. Luckily, Mom and Owen both did an amazing job in the hospital. Mom is just absolutely incredible. Stephanie is the best wife and mom I could ever ask for. I'm just so grateful for her and so grateful for our growing family that I believe now is complete. We are so blessed to have 2 healthy boys, and it's been amazing. Jack has been the best big brother, and it's been so fun seeing him step into that role. I also had an amazing opportunity to have a month of paternity leave as our family transitioned into this new stage of life. And it was so much fun getting to have tons of baby snuggles, but also getting to spend time with family who came to visit and helped out. And most importantly, I had so much one-on-one and just amazing time with Jack, my son, and I'll never forget that time. One of my favorite memories was taking him and my dad, and ultimately my in-laws, up to this spot up in Colorado Springs, near Colorado Springs, up in the mountains. And there's this beautiful crystal clear creek that comes through, and we had a picnic and we threw rocks and we just had the best time. Anytime outside in nature with my son is just absolutely amazing and so blessed. And I love having that time with them. I'm looking forward to 2 more months of paternity leave coming up so that I can spend more time with my family. We're planning to go back to Virginia and visit with family. We're also planning an incredible road trip in the camper, and then saving some time in the winter time so that we can do some skiing together. Really looking forward to getting Jack into some ski lessons so he can ski more as well, and enjoying that activity together that we love. Another big highlight has been watching Jack play t-ball. It has been hilarious, and it has been such a joy. It's been great to see him out there, just really interested in baseball, really interested in the game, but it's also been full of very funny moments as well. I've loved that time so much, and I'm so glad that I've been able to get to each and every game that he has had, and I plan to never miss one, which is awesome, which is a great reason why investing in real estate and entrepreneurship and having some degree of financial freedom can give you that freedom to make all the baseball games, to make all the sporting events, because trust me, your family is what matters most. My family is what matters most. I've also made it a habit to put my phone down as soon as I get home and be present with my family. I've always done this. As soon as I get home, I take my phone and I put it on the countertop and I don't touch it until Jack goes to bed. And I think this is really important, especially in an age where we're so connected to our phones. I want my son to know when I'm around him, and now my sons to know when I'm around them, and my wife, that there's nothing on my phone that is more important than that time with them, because that time is going to go by really fast. So I'd encourage you, if you listen to this, figure out a way that you can put your phone down, be less distracted, and spend time with the folks that matter most, because there's nothing on Instagram, there's no podcast, including this one, that is more important than spending time with them. Fitness has also been a priority. It always is, but it's been more of a priority over the last 6 months. I made a goal this year to run 500 miles. I've already run 361.98 miles, so going to surpass that goal. I think I need to set one a little bit higher. I still need to sign up for a half marathon, but I'm getting there and just need to do it. So hopefully this next recap episode that I record, I'll say, hey, I ran a half marathon. I can't walk, but it was a great time. Now on to Physicians and Properties and some growth that's happened there. We've released 52 episodes, one whole year of podcasting. Absolutely incredible. It has been just so much fun being able to network with incredible real estate investors, and most importantly, absolutely incredible physicians who are changing the world, who are changing patients' lives, because they've realized, hey, financial freedom to some degree can impact how good of a father you are, how good of a husband you are, how good of a wife you are, how good of a mother you are. It can also help you be a better doctor and take better care of patients. It's been so much fun. I tell folks all the time that podcasting is the number one networking tool. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast, I hope this encourages you to do it. It is absolutely worth it. In the world of real estate, we've had some really exciting developments over the last 5-6 months or so. We purchased an off-market seller finance residential assisted living home in Arizona. We have raised over $1 million for incredible real estate opportunities in the last 6 months, which just blows my mind. It is such an honor and a privilege for folks to trust us enough to invest with us in these deals. We are so grateful that we have the opportunity to offer these deals to folks and just partner together in order to achieve financial freedom. It's been such a blast. This $1,050,000 includes $250,000 in private lending that we've used to help renovate and get ready the assisted living home in Arizona. And it also includes $200,000 that we've raised for our Greenville residential assisted living home in Greenville, South Carolina, that we're working on right now. Should be closing by the time this podcast episode airs. That'll be our first home that we renovate from a single family home into a memory care home. And that has been one wild ride and one wild journey, but it's all working out and it is going to be amazing. I'm excited to share more about that as we go on the podcast. It's a valuable learning opportunity for anyone who's interested in doing that. We raised $650,000 for a memory care home, a 20-bed home in Wisconsin, and then 2 other residential assisted living homes in Wisconsin. And that has been awesome. We've partnered with an incredible operator. And this actually led to just recently, just a couple days ago, we created a fund for residential assisted living investing. So we'll be creating a syndication fund, and we hope to raise more capital for folks who are doing absolutely amazing things in the residential assisted living space, who are providing fantastic care for residents who truly deserve it. You've heard me talk about residential assisted living a lot. The residential assisted living space, the boutique kind of assisted living, senior living space, is such a great opportunity from an investment perspective. But these operators that we're partnering with provide such amazing care for the residents. We just love the ability to partner with them. I think about my grandparents in a place, potentially if they end up in a home, a residential assisted living home, which is what I would encourage over a big box facility. I think about the care that I would want them to receive. And we run that through that lens when we're looking to partner with operators. So if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I want to partner with operators, or I am an operator, and you're looking for help raising capital, we would love to help you do that. We want to partner with folks who are doing amazing work. We're so blessed to have had the opportunity to do that so far this year, and we're looking for many more cool opportunities and projects to partner with these folks. Also, I raised $150,000 to help capitalize a value-add boutique hotel in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee called Tremont Lodge. Check it out. It's in Townsend, Tennessee. It is an awesome hotel already. We're doing some pretty extensive renovations, and this hotel is going to be the place to be in the Smoky Mountains. Also, how badass is it to say that you own part of a hotel? Like, I still can't believe it. This last 6 months has just been unbelievable, and I am so grateful and so blessed. One of my goals this year was to speak at a real estate investing conference. I've had the opportunity to speak at 4 real estate mastermind events, 1 was in person and 3 were virtual. This has been about my real estate journey and investing in residential assisted living homes and so forth. It has been awesome. There's been some great relationships that have come out of that experience. And I aim to speak at a large event in person this year. If you're listening to this podcast episode, my ask of you is if you know of a large event looking for physician real estate investors or looking for residential assisted living investors, or heck, even if it's to talk about anything, just let me know. I would love to speak at an event this year. It is one of my goals and I aim to make that happen. Some folks may know that we have a residential assisted living Facebook group that we started. We started this to actually help find operators and realtors and caregivers. This group has grown to over 10,000 members, largely folks who want to invest in residential assisted living homes. We've had over 10,000 members join in the last 7 months, and the overwhelming demand for coaching and teaching about investing in residential assisted living homes led my partners Charlie, Luke, and I to write an incredible 10-step guide to get started in your first or next residential assisted living home. And if you want to download that, I'll include a link to the show notes there. And we'll be launching the Residential Assisted Living Room Mastermind. We call it the RAL Room. The RAL Room Assisted Living Mastermind will be launching on August 15th. So check out the show notes for more information. This is going to be a mastermind community where we give you the tools, the connections, the insights, the experience from tons of operators and investors that will help you buy your first or your next residential assisted living home. It'll be a community of folks who are looking to invest and a community of folks who want to be invested in. I'm just so excited for the partnerships that are going to come out of this. I'm so excited for everything that I'm going to learn from the experts that we've been able to bring into this community. And I'm telling you, this is going to change the face of the residential assisted living education environment. This will be the premier residential assisted living education platform. If you're interested in joining the RAL Room, also, I will include a link in the show notes. We would love to have you there. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. Really excited about that opportunity. And more importantly, we're excited about all the incredible residential assisted living homes that are going to be started from this mastermind that are going to lead to incredible care for the seniors. Again, it comes back to the care that these residents are going to get. And we're just really, really excited about this opportunity. I have had 23 freedom calls, I like to call it, with amazing folks who are looking to learn how real estate investing and entrepreneurship can give them the freedom to invest in themselves, but also give them the freedom to practice medicine and live life on their own terms. It has been so fun getting to connect with these physicians mostly. If you would like to sign up for a freedom call, I'll also include a link for that in the show notes too. Community is such an important thing, and I hope that's something that comes through in this podcast episode, how community and networking has changed my life and how it can change yours as well. I will tell you that information is not the answer. Implementation is, and that implementation comes from a willingness to take action and surround yourself with people who are going to hold you accountable. If you're on the fence right now about joining a community, joining a mastermind, even just signing up for a free 15-minute call with me, do it, because you never know what relationship or what conversation can change your life forever. It's very important. So I strongly encourage you to do that. I have an incredible virtual assistant, Anna. If you're listening to this, thank you so much for all you do for the podcast. She's been able to increase our content to 5 reels or shorts and posts per week in the one podcast episode as well. Something I could absolutely never do on my own. And we're trying to create valuable content for you guys to learn more. And if you know of a good podcast guest or someone that you think would be an amazing guest on the Physicians and Properties podcast, reach out to me. Let me know. I would love to connect with them. We're always looking for amazing guests on the podcast. Some other highlights is a ski retreat from 18 Alpha Investing. My buddies Dean and Anthony throw every year. We were up in Beaver Creek, Colorado. And again, this just really stressed the importance of a community and mastermind groups. We had some amazing sessions. I learned so much, and it was so great being in this small knit community with investors. One thing I love about this community or event space when they're small and intimate like this, it's so nice to have that conversation with folks, to really dive deep with folks and learn about what they love and what they don't and what really makes them tick in terms of investing and entrepreneurship. It's just been such a blessing in my life to be in this community. This is the 3rd mastermind event I've got to attend that they've thrown on, and I will do whatever I can to be at each and every one of them because it is just an incredible group of people I love walking into the room and being the dumbest person in the room. And anytime I go to one of these retreats or mastermind events like that, that's how I feel. That's how I hope to always feel, because that means I'm putting myself in the room with people who have done way more than me. And I just want to be a sponge, and I want to learn as much as I can from them. So I would encourage you, join a mastermind, join a community, go to one of these retreats. It'll be worth it. But I would also say something important that I've learned is the number one networking tool for one of these events or for going to a real estate meetup or something along those lines is to not try and be the most interesting person in the room, but in fact, be the most interested person in the room. If you are that, it'll be a game changer for you, and the relationships that you will make will be so important and so much more valuable. I like to think about an abundance mentality, always giving before you receive. If you can do that, and that's something I'm still working on all the time, the more that you give, the more that you'll receive. And it's just really important to think that way. There's plenty of real estate deals that are out there. There's plenty of money to be made. We should just be trying to build each other up and help each other each step of the journey. On the personal development front, I've been watching hardly any TV. I think maybe my wife and I have turned the TV on 10 times in the last 6 months, and it's been so good for us. When I say turn the TV on 10 times, that means like her and I watching the TV. We do love Bluey, and personally, I think I love Bluey more than my son does. So we do watch a couple Bluey episodes fairly frequently when I'm home with my son before he takes a nap. Bluey aside, you got to get your Bluey time in, but we have watched a lot less TV and we've been reading a lot more. I've always been a huge and avid reader, and I just love it. I mean, you're getting everyone's wisdom, the 20, 30 years of wisdom and experience packed into a book that you get to read for $10 to $15. It's just absolutely amazing. This year, I have kind of pivoted to a little bit more nonfiction books, which has been really fun. That's been great. And then also some standout books recently. I do love some action thriller books as well, which I read before bed, which I wonder why I have trouble sleeping. That might be why. But some standout books include Red Sky Morning by Jack Carr. If you've never read any of the Jack Carr books or Jack Carr series, you need to do it. The Terminal List was the first one, which was made into a TV show. He's written 7 or 8 books now, and they are all amazing. And Red Sky Morning honestly might have been his best one. So yeah, check out Jack Carr's books. Also, another book that was recommended to me was called 1 Second After by William Fortune. It is about a EMP that goes off, and it follows this former Army colonel who is basically trying to survive with his family after this EMP goes off. It was a really interesting book that I think everybody should read, not one to read right before bed. And anyways, enough about that. Other highlights are we've planted a garden, which has been really fun to get there and get dirty with Jack and teach him how to be a producer, not just a consumer, and our garden's thriving. We've had strawberries and blueberries and just more lettuce than we know what to do with. I'm growing some carrots, some tomatoes, some peppers, some squash, some cantaloupe. So, hey, come on by, come get some produce sometime from our house in Colorado Springs. We'd be more than happy to share it with you. I will say, as with life, not everything has been smooth sailing. We've definitely gone through a few valleys, both personally and professionally and in our real estate journey. Real estate's not always easy, and I hope that I never come across making it sound like it is, because it is not. Things do go wrong. But I will say the pros, the highs, far outweigh the lows in real estate. For example, we've had quite a few things happen. Our dishwasher and our hot water heater went out up at our short-term rental in Black Hawk, Colorado, the Dome. We spent a significant amount of money with that and some electrical work. We have not experienced as much cash flow as we have in previous years up there. We have a long-term rental in Florida, in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, where we were previously stationed, and that house was completely trashed by the previous tenants. We are going to have to paint the whole house, rip up some carpet, replace it with some LV, do a bunch of landscaping work. All the trim was chewed up by a dog. It's going to cost us about $12,000, which is very frustrating, especially because we cash flow about $1,000 per month on that house. Essentially a whole year of cash flow gone from this one group of tenants. And so really important to vet your tenants and vet the property manager that you're using, and be understanding sometimes economies of scale can be helpful. Sometimes a multi-unit property can be way more helpful, because if one unit is trashed, at least you're getting income from the other units that you have. For this is just one single family house. Right now, we're in the middle of doing all these repairs, and we're having to pay out of pocket each month until that's done. Just be mindful of that maybe commercial real estate or small multifamily properties may be better for you for that reason. We also had to face an eviction in one of our homes in Arizona with a tenant who just stopped paying. And that was very frustrating as well. It was a behavioral care home. Long story short, she was not very forthcoming with us after multiple interviews. She did a really great job on the interviews, and we felt she was going to be an amazing operator. She answered all the questions right, had a lot of experience, but what she didn't disclose to us was that something happened and she was unable to get a license. Once she realized finally that she could not get a license to operate this behavioral care home for kids with disabilities, she just stopped paying us. Right now, we are looking for a new tenant for that home as well. These things happen in real estate, and again, you learn from them. It's tuition. Fortunately, we've come out way ahead on all our real estate deals, and we've been paying investors on time no matter what. We always only offer deals for investors that make sense, and we make sure we have the means and the financial capital to pay them back if something were to happen, because that is what's most important in real estate. Is if you have investors and you take on their hard-earned capital, I think I would sell my kidney before I wouldn't pay an investor. I genuinely mean that, because it's so important to take care of your investors, your tenants, and your residents. So very important there as well. Management has been a challenge. If you're listening to this and you have some great time management tips or some books that you recommend, send them my way. This is something I'm always trying to learn about. Most important to me, as I've mentioned, is family time and spending that time with them. I didn't quite hit my goal so far of a monthly date night with Stephanie, but we have come close. We do a good job at connecting, at least for a few minutes every night, even if it's a really busy night, especially now with a newborn and a 3.5-year-old. But I want to do better. I want to be better about that. I want to make sure that my wife always feels we're connected, and I know what's going on in her life. She knows what's going on in mine. And it's hard, especially as a physician, as a father. Things get busy. I want to encourage you to take the time to make your spouse feel like she's the only person that matters. I'm grateful that we had a week-long baby moon in Miami that was just her and I. We were able to do that. We had so much fun getting to spend that time together. Let's go ahead and get this close to wrapping up. So looking ahead, we are excited to close on a memory care home in Greenville, South Carolina. Probably about the time that this podcast airs, we'll be closing on that home. We're super excited about that. I look forward to talking more about that renovation journey on the podcast. So be subscribed to this podcast so that you will hear more about that renovation journey going forward. We're finalizing that residential assisted living syndication fund, which is so awesome and so crazy to think that we're going to have a fund where we can invest in these assisted living homes. I don't know of any other out there that exists that invest in residential assisted living homes. So we're so excited to be kind of tip of the spear for this opportunity. If you're looking to invest with us, I'll include a link in the show notes here where you can just fill out a little sheet and it'll get your information from you. That will add you to our list so we can send you out the information for deals that we're having coming down the pipeline. Also, please think about us as we get ready to launch the RAL Room Mastermind. It has been a big undertaking and a big journey, and we're so excited to pack so much value into this community for folks. That will be launching on August 15th, and we can't wait. I hope over the next 6 months that things will slow down a little bit, to be completely honest. I want to take some time to slow down and spend time with my family and figure out what's next. We are anticipating a move in June of 2025. We are anticipating a move, and that'll be after my service commitment is up with the Air Force. Right now, we're trying to figure out where to move. We're leaning towards Virginia, moving back home with family, but we'll see what happens. If you have any great places or suggestions of places that we can move, we are looking for a place where we can have great family time, quality time with our family, where we can have some land. We're looking to do a little homestead and have some land. We are very much looking forward to outdoor activities as well. We want to continue those regardless of where we go next. We love Colorado, but we think it's probably time for us to get closer to our family. So we're really looking forward to that as well. Thank you so much for being part of this incredible journey for the Physicians and Properties podcast. I'm so honored that anybody has listened to 52 episodes of this podcast, and I hope that we can have another 52 episodes of growth, learning, and success. It has been my pleasure to be the host of this podcast, and I'm so grateful for you and for your time that you have spent with me over this last year. If you haven't already, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with any physician friends, colleagues, or anyone that you think could gain from this podcast. Together, we can achieve great things, and we can see how financial freedom can give us the freedom to practice medicine and live life how we want. So without any further ado, I'm your host, Dr. Alex Schloe, signing off. Hey, real quick, if you're still listening to this, I'm assuming you got value from it. So I need your help specifically. My 2-year vision with this podcast is to help 100,000 physicians Learn how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want. There are two main ways that a podcast grows. One is through ratings and reviews, and the other is word of mouth. If you can please leave me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as send this to 1 to 2 friends that you think would get value from it, we can reach the physicians that we want to reach. Thanks in advance, and talk to you on the next episode. Please note that the information shared on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial or medical advice. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the host and the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense or the United States Air Force.